Hello, and welcome to 14 Henrietta Street. No, it's not. Of course, is it? It's a living room. I'd imagine you're in a living room or in a bedroom or something similar in your house anyway. So it's National Poetry Day today in Ireland, and I thought it'd be interesting to celebrate it in some sort of way. So I'd like to recite a poem that I wrote before. It was for Neighbours' Day, which we had last year. And it is set in the building of 14 Henrietta Street, in a specific place. It's set on the stairs of the building. Anybody who's been on the tour, you'll likely remember that place. It's a very distinctive look to it. And I love it. It's probably my favourite area of the building, and my favourite part of the tour, because it's the part where you transition from the Georgian era in a room where it's very well lit, very bright, even has a 4-poster bed and everything. Then you move straight, suddenly immersed into the tenement world, where it's dimly lit, the paint is flecked on the walls. A lot of people say as well, not only with the change in how it looks, but it actually feels a good bit colder as you move between those doorways. So I just think it's very interesting space, because you're, with all these different sensations going on, you're kind of thrown into the tenements in a sense. So I think it's a very vivid space, and this poem here, it's kind of timed from, say, a dusk through till dawn, like what happens on the night time of the stairs, because would have been such busy spaces, there'd be barely a moment, even in the middle of the night, when there wouldn't have been activity on the tenement stairs and on the hallways. And it's set around maybe, let's say, about the early 1910s period. So I'll crack into it. Okay. Hear the thump, hear the thump, hear the thump, hear the thump. It's the sound of children running down the steps, trying to squeeze the last bit of play from what the day has left. Did you hear about Michael and Philip scutting earlier out in the street? Cart with massive wheels, they almost got thrown underneath. And Maria collected so many bottles that at the shop at the top of the road she got a whole handful of sweets, but could never eat them, so they gave the rest to me and Peter. Children, children, would you come here to me? It's gone 8:30, get into the room, would ye? 'Cause the vagrants will be coming out, same as every night. Not a rough crowd, but still it's dangerous out here on the stairs. Can be the stuff of nightmares. Mommy says they're queer fellows coming in here from the street, just for a few hours sleep. No pillow, no sheet, just a jacket on their back, not really much relief. From the weather outside, which is wind and sleet, beating on the windows, the price of them, not even having a room here, is sadly rather steep. But the rough sleepers, they wouldn't cheat you, just looking for some shelter, any sense of warmth would please them. Barely hear them coming and going, so discreet. Well, usually, 'cause some can have their temper peaked. Poor fellas, can you blame them that when they'd get a drink, they'd want to drink it neat? Because it's difficult to process things when you haven't had a bite of meat in weeks and weeks. Wouldn't half it make you admit defeat, shifting from building to building in these former homes of the elites? It's a life lived on your feet, and as they thump through the streets, they're often at the mercy of the copper on the beat. Because yet the DNP, they're not so fond of these people who are always on their feet, always looking for a place to sleep, on repeat, and on repeat. Added to that, here, what's that? Sound of shuffling, scratching, but a little softer, little patter here and there. Something's passing down the steps, ever so quiet, tiptoeing flatly, making little leaps across the bodies, sleeping along the landing, navigating its way so it too can get the closest thing to a meal. What is it? Is it a cat? No, it's a furry friend, another companion to our story of the night on the steps. All rodents know that when full darkness descends, it's the time there's the best chance of food for them. So up and down the stairs descend, up and down the stairs, all the furry friends, crawling on a mission. Because when the city's on its knees, we all get down to pray, that the next day may bring us possibly a greater sense of peace. Hard to get that on these tenement streets, trying to scrape together some kindling, but met with words of warning, like any person who tampers with anything, or who is not resident in this house, will be prosecuted by the law. But how many more times do you end up reaching your final straw, broken down from being ground up in the maw? And when your one collective flaw was to have been born in this forgotten part of the empire, what would King George think if he saw this, citizens of the kingdom, so bereft of income that they have to choose between feeding themselves or feeding their children? Because that sun never sets. The sun never sets, isn't that the same? Well, it's hard to believe that out here on the stairs, where we're all paying for our fate and coming up short-changed. So then the click of a handle turning in a door down the way, The vagrants make their way swaying out the doorway, and on again to replay, again at the end of the day, the scenario just explained. Yet in all this there's a warmth, there's a specialness, emerging out of this being the norm. Tens of thousands across the city, all in the same boat, and as more doors open up, light starts to fall into the hallway. Hear the sounds of children, and their laughter mixing together one by one, till there's a swarm of kids amidst the thump of little feet along the steps. Suddenly it's thrilling and alive all over again. And though the situation rarely changes, what's consistent is this constant sense of something new. So amongst the Reckitt's blue and the red rattle, we'll greet the new day with laughs and cackles. Giddy up, let's get back in the saddle. So I hope you enjoyed that, and since it's a poetry day as well, I'd definitely recommend getting a book off the shelf, searching online for a poem, maybe a poem you haven't read in years, maybe a poem from your school days or such, or just looking around for a poem. And also, whenever things return to normal, your local bookshop, perfect place to go looking for a nice poetry volume as well. I know that's what I'm going to be doing, dying for a new poetry book. So thank you very much. Have a lovely day.